Attention. Welcome to the Different Spectrums podcast. We dive into the wild world of mental health discussions. Get ready for profound talks, a sprinkle of humor and sarcasm, and a touch of colorful language. Just a quick heads up, our show reflects our individual opinions, which may not align with the standpoint of the podcast, our featured guests, or any related corporate entities. Our mission? To illuminate through laughter and satire because everyone needs a good chuckle. Chill out and don't stress over the small stuff. Legal troubles? No, thank you. Cancel culture? Please spare us. We'd rather keep this space lawsuit free. So buckle up, have a good time, and join us as we navigate the vibrant realm of mental health on the Different Spectrums podcast. Today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who is trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice. By using our link, you can get 10% off your first month of therapy. So, Naz, as a therapist on BetterHelp, what has your experience been like?
I've been doing it since January 2021, and it's been really fun and exciting. I've been able to reach clients all over the United States and the world. I've had good relationships. I've had folks that I've had for a couple months and a good handful where I've had for almost 2 years now. So it's magnificent. I've enjoyed my time and my clients. I love them.
Awesome. You can do it all from your phone or computer via phone call, video chat, or messaging, however you feel the most comfortable. Let BetterHelp connect you to a therapist who can support you all from the comfort of your own home. Visit betterhelp.com/DSP or choose Different Spectrums podcast during sign up and enjoy a special discount on your first month. Hey everybody, we back again.
Hey, we're back and we're live.
I'm Spencer, and of course we have our co-host, Naz.
They call me Dr. Nas. Bald-headed, shine tip, Dr. Nas.
I pray for them. Anyways, remember, don't take us too seriously.
Or do, that's completely up to you.
Also, don't forget to run up those likes for us. We'd really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So today, our next guest is a LCPC in Maryland whose practice called Foresee Counseling focuses on the intersection of mental health, social justice, and systemic influences. She helps her clients explore how historical and societal systems impact their well-being, guiding them towards self-awareness, empowerment, and authenticity. Please welcome Jessica Doran to the show. Yay.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Yeah, nice to have you. Can't wait to get into some of the subject matter. All right. So with that, today we are doing the great movie, acclaimed movie. Let's say it, acclaimed. Critically acclaimed movie by Jordan Peele called Get Out. And today we're going to be focusing on some topics with white clinicians. We're going to be talking about non-consensual mental health practices. We're going to be talking about appropriation. Also, we're going to be talking about assimilation. Those are be some of the topics that we're covering today. Naz, anything before we get into the show?
I ain't gonna lie. Jessica was losing a lot of big words in pre-production. You know, I take personal offense. You know, if I can't spell it, I don't want you saying it.
Just a dinosaur. Like what?
I ought to see myself out. It's fine. I'm sorry. I offended you.
You're our DEI hire for today. That's fine.
Me.
You know, we got us a white one. Yep.
Apparently everyone's getting rid of those. So
I know.
Sorry, you gotta leave.
You're the last one.
Oh my God.
You're the last one. Starting tomorrow.
Yep.
Welcome, people. So
MLK.
MLK Day. It's a big day. That's the day I recognize.
Yeah,
MLK
that's
Day.
the day you're talking about.
Yeah. A lot of magnificent topics. I was kind of wondering how we would navigate this right with Jessica, and it looks like she hit on everything that I'd want to. And it's probably going to be dropping like a lot of knowledge, a lot of education. So this is going to be a very educational thing. If you are a white individual, then it's going to be a lot of learned experience, a lot of learned stuff you're going to get. If you're a brown or black individual, then there's some of the stuff that you maybe already know. All of us will be able to relate to this, though. Doesn't matter what identity it is, because we all code switch to some amount, or we all mask to some amount. So we're going to kind of get into the weeds of that. I've got some really cool stories about hypnosis. And then we're just going to have some fun and talk a lot of shit. So tons of education. We're going to get into some systemic issues. We're going to use some big words. I'm going to have Jessica tone it down for the coloreds here. So,
Jesus
I mean,
Christ.
I got to get my colored Bible, so.
Lord.
This the one. Oh my God, Spencer. Lord.
Just has.
I mean, that's
the
how
first
we
word
got
that's in it is Lord.
I know, Lord. So let's do it. For those of you who don't want to sign up, get out. Get out. All right, let's do this. Whoop whoop.
Whoop whoop.
Whoop whoop.
Nice.
Hey, look at you appropriating.
Oh, taking our words.
I know, taking all
Using them
letter
as your
words. White
Oh God, I'm gonna get canceled.
Look at you,
Yeah.
white woman, taken from us.
There's a white woman.
Can you be my savior?
Break up my chifforobe.
Can you blindside me? Can you?
Shout out to Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh my God.
All right. We're good.
Atticus.
This is gonna be so fun.
Do you realize how dangerous smoking is?
Yeah.
Come in and sit with me, please. Just for a little while. Please. Thank you. So you're comfortable enough, right?
It's perfect. Thanks.
Sure. You want to know how it works?
You just dangle a pocket watch in front of people's faces. Is that it?
You watch a lot of TV.
When I was a kid.
Now you're feeling very sleepy. We do use focal points sometimes to guide someone into a state of heightened suggestibility.
Heightened suggestibility.
That's right. That's right. Do you smoke in front of my daughter?
I'm gonna quit, I promise.
That's my kid. That is my kid. You understand? What about your mother?
What about her? Wait, are we?
Where were you when she died?
I don't want to think about that. Home. Watching TV.
Do you hear the TV? What do you hear?
Rain.
Rain. It was raining. You hear the rain?
Mm-hmm.
You hear it? Find it. Tell me when you found it. Come here, Chris. Look at me.
Found it.
Where was your mom?
She was coming home. And she wasn't home.
From work. And what did you do?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I just sat there.
You didn't call anyone?
No.
Why not?
I don't know. I just thought that if I did, it'd make it real.
You think it was your fault? How do you feel now?
I can't move.
You can't move.
Why can't I move?
You're paralyzed. Just like that day when you did nothing. You did nothing. Now, sink into the floor.
Wait.
Sink. Now you're in the sunken place.
Come on. Oh, hey, hang on. Chris, I want to introduce you to some friends. This is David and Marcia Wincott, Ronald and Celia Jeffries, Hiroki Tanaka, and Jessica and Friedrich Walden.
Too many names to remember, but hi.
Do you find being African American has more advantage or disadvantage in the modern world?
It's a tough one.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Hey. Yo, my man. They were asking me about the African-American experience. Maybe you could take this one.
Oh. Well, I find that the African-American experience for me has been, for the most part, very good. Although, I find it difficult to go into detail as I haven't had much desire to leave the house in a while.
We've become such homebodies.
Yes, but even when you go into the city, I've just had no interest. The chores have become my sanctuary. Get out.
Sorry, man.
Okay.
Get out!
Yo!
No!
Yo, chill, man.
Get out!
Chill!
Chill, man! Chill! Get the fuck out of here!
Seizures create anxiety, which can trigger aggression.
Yeah, but like randomly attacking other people?
Oh, it's not random. You know, it was your flash. That's what set him off. Hey,
Well,
how's he doing?
it's much better.
I imagine that I owe you all an apology.
No. We're just very happy that you're yourself again.
Yes, I am. And I thank God for you for calming me down. I know that I must have frightened you all quite a bit, especially you, Chris.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Flash, I didn't know.
Of course not. How could you have?
And you shouldn't have been drinking either.
Yes. Well, I'll have to let you all get on the rest of the night without the aid of my marvelous wit. The whole ordeal has made me quite a bit exhausted.
Look, and you just get some rest.
It was nice meeting you, Chris.
Something to lighten the mood.
Yes, yeah, let's get this party back on track. How about sparklers and bingo?
We're gonna go on a walk.
You sure? Shall we?
My cousin's epileptic. That wasn't a seizure, right?
My dad's a neurosurgeon, and that's what he said it was. I'm inclined to trust.
That wasn't a seizure.
What was it then?
How long have you known that guy?
I met him today. Why?
Man, this is gonna sound weird, but when he came at me, it felt like I knew him.
Like you've met Logan before?
No, I don't know Logan. I knew the guy that come at me. I think your mom got in my head, right? I think she got in my head.
Yeah, and it worked, I
No, it
thought.
did not. It didn't work. She got in my head, and now I'm thinking all this fucked up shit that I don't want to think about.
Like what?
I just need to go.
You want to go? Without me?
Whatever you want.
Hey everyone, have you been looking for something to help you when you feel extra fidgety? How about when you have a sensory overload? Well, I'm here to introduce you to the Oh No Fidget Roller. It helps me regulate and also feel at ease. The Oh No Roller comes in 5 different materials, including plastic, aluminum, steel, titanium, and silicone. You can use our code DSP10 to get 10% off your order when you visit onoroller.com and get your roll on. And we're back again.
Hey, we're back. We're back. Just like a quick story. Bro, real quick. So I've been so busy I ain't cut my hair in a minute. Right, so it's real thick on the sides right now.
Nobody
if you can't
can
tell.
fucking tell.
It's
I'm gonna
thick.
just
It's
tell you
thick.
that right now. Nobody.
I like my hair thick.
Once you bald in the middle, nobody notices the sides. I'm gonna be honest with you,
But
unless
it's
you're like
thick.
Frank Reynolds,
So-
just crazy on the
I
sides.
felt like doing it. I kept pushing it up during therapy to make it see if I can get that Bernie Sanders going.
That fold over.
And so I was looking at my boss, one of my bosses, and he's got like a flat on the side, Spence, but then just that like the hot dog bun here.
Yeah.
And all I could think about is just putting that on my head. Like he's doing a full blown training about something, probably gonna save someone's life. I'm just like, I want to shave that and slap it off.
So you think about scalping somebody? That's good.
It's an old practice that I could get back to.
Yeah. Let's get back to those days.
Back to them days.
It's good times.
I just
Good
thought
times.
about it. I mean, I was like, he'd make a good toupee.
This is why we can never watch any serial killer movies again.
No.
This is exactly why.
Nope.
Especially ones about skinning people.
I know, I
Anyways,
just was putting on. All right, I'm done with my story. I'm sorry.
are you? Okay. All right. So, Jessica, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Just wanted to know, how did you get started in the mental health field, and why? Why did you want to be part of the mental health community?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a great question, and I guess the generic answer is, I wanted to do some good, and I have pretty good traits that align with being a therapist. So
I thought she was about to say good
there.
credit. I swear to God, I thought you were about to say good credit.
I do have pretty good credit.
Oh, here we go. You looking down on us, I see. Here we go. What do you mean, you people? Right. What do you mean, you people?
That intergenerational wealth has really blessed.
Oh, my God. Sorry, continue.
But honestly, I've been thinking about it, and it's really my love for stories. I love hearing people's stories, hearing their perspectives, how they see the world, how the world sees them back. And I think this job has kind of given me more than I feel like I've given it in some aspects, because I see the world in a totally different light. There's more nuance and richness to it. So I guess that's why I do it and why I still do it.
Yeah. Good. I mean, you also told us that you work a little bit more with like community mental health, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain to us, like, what is that and what made you want to stick around, especially doing that type of field?
Yeah, absolutely. So community mental health is it's based in the community, and it's more of like a one-stop shop in some senses. Like, we have a psychiatrist, there was a nurse practitioner there for a little while. And people can typically walk in and get seen pretty quickly. So it's not, okay, I'm going to schedule an appointment. And everyone that I see there is on Medicaid. So you have to be within a certain income range to also be seen there, I guess. And so the population that I work with, I'm in Baltimore City. So it's all residents of Baltimore City that are on Medicaid. And I guess I really stuck around because I think often with the community mental health setting, there's this influx of people to get their hours for licensure. And they come, they get the supervision, they see a ton of clients. You have a high turnover rate, and then they leave as soon as they get their hours. So these clients who tend to have more of the quote unquote hardcore diagnoses or whatever, experience high turnover rate with their therapist. The psychiatrist stays, but still your therapist, you develop that rapport, that relationship with, then all of a sudden it creates this perpetuation of abandonment and kind of just being left behind.
No one cares.
And yeah, exactly. That you're able to just cast them aside, which I think is something that many of my clients have experienced throughout their lives. So I wanted to stay, certainly not for the pay, because it does not pay well. But because I care about the people and I don't want to be part of that cycle.
Yeah, I know it's tough work. I know it's a lot of contact hours, right? It's a lot of hours and not the best pay. I know it's pretty abusive when it comes to overbooking and overscheduling. I know it's intense, and it's a lot about what's billable. So I'm running, and so random question, not random, but on topic. So Medicaid. So you're seeing people obviously that have lower incomes, and is it still a lot of white folks that are in there, or is it still a lot of black and brown folks, or is it 50? What is it?
I would say it's probably 95% black.
Oh, wow.
And 5% white. I mean, I am working like in the middle
Baltimore,
of Baltimore. Yeah. So it's a pretty black city.
Yep.
But so I guess it aligns with like population.
Yep. Demographics.
Statistics. Yeah, right. Exactly. So yeah, mostly black. Black women I work with most of the time. I have a couple of black guys, but yeah.
Okay. So do you ever, so we're talking about the movie today, white clinician, black population. Do you ever find a lot of resistance with folks, and not because of just them, but because of your identities, or is it just resistance because it's just treatment in general, or is it masculinity? What's the biggest proponent of resistance, or is it all of it that contributes to it?
Yeah. I mean,
that's if they are resistant. I can't say that all black and brown folks are resistant.
And I feel like resistance gets a bad rap. I think it's more protective in a lot of senses of, okay, you're walking into a space where the field of therapy, psychiatry is really rooted in oppression, specifically of oppressing Black bodies. So you're coming into this space where that you don't know how you're going to be treated. Are you going to face microaggressions? Are you going to be coerced into care? Are you going to receive non-consensual care if you share the full story of what you've experienced or what you're experiencing? Are you going to be misdiagnosed, overdiagnosed? So I hesitate to use the term resistant because that kind of makes it feel like, oh, they're choosing to be like, oh, I just don't want to do this, when it really is more of a protective of I know I know enough to know that this system was built to keep me unsafe. So am I entering into a safe space or not?
X.
Yeah.
Look at this. So if I'm turning my head, I'm getting ready to talk a lot of bullshit. This right here is when a white woman that went on liberal schools, and then said all this woke shit, black people are resistant. They don't want no help. They don't want no help. They're ignorant. The reason why I said that is because that's what a lot of people believe. They believe that we don't want to help. I have even friends to this day, Spence, where they're like, oh, they want to stay poor. What the fuck? Why would you? Oh, they want trauma. Like, why would they want trauma? They just want to be gangbangers. I'm like, bro, like
they just want to drive up the system.
I'm like,
that's smart.
I'm like, yeah, that's what they wanted. Homie wanted to drop out 3rd, 4th grade. Homie wanted to commit crimes and felonies. Homie wasn't born innocent and then was petrified of the world and then got forced into doing some things. But
sometimes it's all you knew.
I know.
It's all you knew. But people don't. And how many fucking movies, shows that we've had about that where it's just like, look, sometimes this is all people know and that's all they grow up in.
Yep.
Sometimes people that do grow up in that stuff come out of it and they go on to do things that better their community, better themselves, yada, yada, yada. But it's like,
bruh, they'll use that one example, be like, look, he wasn't no good one. And I'm like, bruh, there's like a whole population here that's struggling.
Mm-hmm.
But let's not talk about, the subsidies that all these corporations get. Let's talk about like the welfare queens. But also, let's not worry about how majority of it is white women, single women that take it. But we're going to blame it on black and brown folks, specifically black women. I'm like, I told this to a client the other day. He was like, for real? I'm like, yeah, bro, just look the shit up. Just think about it population wise. Just think about it mathematically, bro. It's not complicated. So that's why I did that ignorant voice, is because some people will just say that you're one of them and you're protecting the population that doesn't want to help themselves. If they didn't want to help themselves, some motherfucker would they be in treatment? Why would they be trying to do better for the kids? Whatever. I'm not. So you get what I'm getting into. So I love your answers about resistance and redefining what resistance is for our population.
Yeah, and I think it's also a good point that also there might be some reluctance because maybe they think like you're just going to leave the space at some point, because then you're like, oh, I found a better job and a better location somewhere where it's like quote unquote safer, blah blah,
Absolutely. And especially if you're coming with trauma and then having to retell your trauma narrative over and over, that exposure can be re-traumatizing. So there's so many factors as to why people might be quote unquote resistant, to coming to therapy or entering into that space with me. But I guess the way I handle it is really kind of having the conversation about addressing the elephant in the room of the fact that I am a white person.
I don't see color.
Job.
I don't see color. I didn't notice you was white. I didn't notice you was white. I just seen a blob, I just seen your hair. That's all I was actually thinking about,
Oh my God.
Go past that. Go back on your topic. So you address the things in therapy.
Yes. Yeah. And it's actually a thing called broaching, which Dr. Norma Day Vines was a professor at my graduate school. And she talked about broaching the subject of race, because historically it's been like, oh, just don't talk about it. There's nothing to talk about there. I've had a supervisor say, oh, race has nothing to do with mental health. Older white guy. And so really addressing that literally first kind of meeting. And people will be honest with me. And I think it's like about earning your trust, like, which I think is valid.
Yes. Specific, yeah, what you meant by that is not her earning their trust, is her proving that she's a safe enough person, so that way the clients that are Black and brown or marginalized or have been hurt or traumatized, let's trust her by showing her that she is a good person, a safe person, that she's not going to leave, she's not going to judge them, she's not going to lock them up, she's not going to take their fucking kids, right? Because, you know, depending on what you say, they could take your kids. And so, you know, it takes a second for our folks to be like, couple meetings, like, okay, can I say some weird shit to you?
Yeah.
I mean, can I?
I think it totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Facts. It takes a while. The more trauma people have, I think the longer it takes. Do you have folks that open up real quick? Yeah. But majority of the time we're like, yeah, especially my boys, my men, they'll be like a year in, they'll be like, I'm going to tell you something. I'm like, God damn it. This is going to be a really fucking sad session today. And they're just like, yep. I'm like, ah, shit. Okay. It's a vibe. So even for me, a brown clinician, Mexican, Arab, from certain areas, poor areas, Black areas, still takes a while. Safety. Good questions. What else you got for us, Spence?
I also wanted to ask, so you talked about how like you're balancing not only like your life as, you know, a clinician, but you're also balancing your life as a mom, as a wife, as a partner. And just how do you do that? Like, I would love to know, and for the people out there who are therapists, who are training to be therapists, how do you kind of have that that bandwidth / how do you really kind of make sure that you have balance in your life for all these things happening?
Yeah. I guess the long and the short of it is it's probably not balanced.
Hey, that's the first truthful.
I honestly wouldn't recommend it for we live in a hustle grind capitalistic culture that requires me to make money. Right? You know, in order to afford a roof over my head, in order to be able to send my kid, you know, to save up if she wants to go to college, in order to do these things. So no, I'm hustling, and it's not a good balance. This is not how humans are meant to operate. But yeah, so I definitely don't want to like glorify what I'm doing, because I do have, you know, I have my community mental health folks, I have my private practice folks, and then I am like a full-time stay-at-home mom on top of that, like seeing clients in the moments where my partner is home and can watch my daughter. So it doesn't reserve a lot of free time, for sure. So
what I hear is you're a bad parent.
Probably.
No.
Shut up.
Just kidding.
Let me tease her worst
Just
nightmare
kidding.
of a parent. You're probably a bad parent. No. I'm so sorry.
Oh man, but you know, being a mom is really hard. People are rough on you. Like, if you stay at home with them all the time, it's like, oh, you're just living off your husband. If you work, then you're not paying enough attention to your kid. Like, you can't win as a mom. So you might as well just do whatever the fuck works for you.
That's why you have more kids, so then they can watch each other.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I'm not even joking. Like, that's just how it goes.
That's how I'm the eldest daughter. That was legit my role. So yeah.
So now we know why she became a therapist. She's good at taking care of people. Let's dig into this trauma.
Oh God.
Let's get our teacups
Where's
out.
my tea at?
No.
Yeah.
I do not.
I don't know if that works
consent.
on white people, but we'll find out.
Does it work on white people?
I don't know.
What would work on white people? I don't know. What's something really racist to talk about? Do you want me to just like take my gun and stir it in a coffee mug full of whiskey? Yeah.
Oh my God.
Does this turn you on?
Oh my.
I don't think that's where I was supposed to go with that, but
Nope. But you went there. You went there.
When we get into the scene, I got some funny stuff to bring up, but not about guns.
Okay.
But like the parent stuff, man, like, so one thing I forgot to tell you in pre-production is that our podcast is majority neurodivergent individuals, a lot of Black and brown individuals, but a high rate of everyone's going to be probably neurodivergent. Like I said, autistic, but it's going to be about 80% women. So you're speaking to a large population, not saying that all of them have kids, not saying that all of them do that.
Sure.
But it is an issue. Like, how do you live in this world, make money, show up for your family? And you gave probably the best truthful answer that we've had in 3 years is you don't. Something is sacrificed. And most likely you're doing not the best in everything, but you are doing the best that you can. And most likely everyone's fine and everything's okay. So you're not a bad mom. You're not a bad clinician. But it's like, fuck, man, how long can you do that? And how long can you battle with like functional anxiety and depression because you're so fucking tired and miserable because you got money and bills. You got to make sure your kid can eat.
Yeah.
Right. Me and you've heard these stories a zillion times over. Spence knows too, right? Because the things he's experienced with women, but also his ma hustling and grinding, right? She's a hard worker. Being a single mom. So it's like, it's a son of a bitch being a parent, but let alone a mom.
Absolutely.
An actual parent that takes care of their kid. I should say that.
Sure. Sure.
So yeah, thank you for that. When I'm gonna share this real quick, Spence, right, I'm doing this private practice shit and all this stuff. I'm getting insured by all these companies, and so the next thing is Medicaid, because I got a lot of people that hit me up, Spence. They're all black and brown, and it's all Medicaid. And the way the state does it in Indiana, it's fucking weird. It's if you get Medicaid, you get 3 different plans to choose from. One of the plans is Blue Cross Blue Shield, which is a big company, which technically I take. But I can't take it because it's funded through Medicaid and I'm not cleared through Medicaid. But if you buy Obamacare insurance through the marketplace, it's still subsidized through the government because you're like low income, low wages. Then they get a bunch of plans to choose from. One of them is Blue Cross Blue Shield. And some clients are very poor. They pay $0 for it because of the subsidies. I can take that insurance, but I can't take the Medicaid one, which to me makes no fucking sense. Same exact insurance. They're both funded and subsidized through the government. But majority of folks are on Medicaid that want to see me. I'm like, bro, I can't be seeing people for $0. And like, they don't even have the $20, $30 to see me. So I'm like, I'll help you find another clinician. So I'll literally sit on the phone with them, Spence, and be like, all right, let's click these drop down boxes. I'm gonna help you find someone that's black that takes Medicaid. And you're like, you didn't have to do this. I'm like, I'm not just going to leave you out to dry, homie. Like, I'm not a piece of shit. But it sucks not being able to see that population fully. It just sucks. So the reason why I bring this up is I feel like we always think that we're failing in something as therapists, as parents, as partners, Spence, as workers. I feel like we always are like, fuck, man, I suck. Like, I'm doing magnificent, yet I'm like, fuck, I'm letting everyone down. It's a wild place to be as an empath or autistic or a woman, whatever. It's everything it's just hard to be. So that was depressing. Everyone's doing the best.
Everyone's doing what they can.
They can. They're struggling.
Crazy world.
Shit's crazy. Everything's on fire.
Yeah.
Literally.
Supposedly
insurance companies
fucking people over. Supposedly the genocide is going to stop. Definitely not going to happen. But whatever.
It hasn't stopped for thousands of years. Why would it stop now? Why would it stop now? It's never gonna stop. It's never gonna stop. They're always gonna be opposing sides to everything.
I'm glad you said it, not me, an Arab. So,
no. I mean,
all right, let's pivot back into a few more questions for Jessica's gonna get his show. So after that depression, nothing. Woo!
All right, Jessica, how'd you get onto the pod? Like, what? Who reached out? Did you reach out? Did we reach out?
Stalker.
What was the deal here? Like, what did we stalk you?
I don't know. She stalked us.
Oh,
I liked a bunch of your stuff because I liked the stuff. I mean,
it's good.
You like my stuff?
Like what?
God damn it!
I'm not answering.
You
that.
I got that water, girl. You know.
Oh my god!
God damn it!
You like the way I sweat in the summer?
God damn it! You like it when my baldness
you
shows
like it when I eat
food? Yes. Love it when my bald head glistens in the morning sun.
Continue.
Exactly.
What do you mean? Oh, you're fat shaming right. Now. Oh, okay. Fuck you.
You don't like the rolls?
It's because I'm black. Okay.
Motherfucking Polynesian saying he black. I don't understand. like, aloha. I'm like, all right, calm down.
Hey, brother. Okay, back on track. So, how did you come across?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm not going to say I liked your stuff again.
No.
So you didn't like the stuff?
Yeah, I hated all of it.
I know.
That's why I liked them.
Did we just randomly pop up on your radar, or were you just looking for like?
Popped up on my page, like on my reels.
Oh.
And like I saw one of your reels that you posted, and then I like went down the rabbit hole of like watching a whole bunch of them. And so then I liked them because I like to like show support when I like something, I guess. And so Nas, I think you reached out and were just like, hey, I see that you liked a billion of our things. Do you want to come on the podcast? I was like, yeah, sweet. Yeah. I do.
I see your OCD. Why don't you come onto the show? We
can
talk about it.
I feel like you're special.
I feel like you fit this show well.
I feel like you like too many things for me to turn it around. Like, girl, I feel like
you like Legos and dinosaur nuggets. Yep. Am I wrong?
I think you baited me. It was a get out moment. She was baiting me into the house, you know. It was. She was like, let me tease him.
That's how they get you.
Oh my God.
That's how they get you.
She's like, I'm married with kids. Now she's married with kids. All of a sudden, she's on the show, you know.
I know.
So pausing all the craziness. Yeah, she liked a ton of the stuff, but it was over a longer period of time as well, right? So whenever people actually show up for support, we're like, hey, we're gonna give you opportunity. I don't care about how do you have more followers now? I haven't even looked. When I first met you, you were at like
I think I'm at like 2,000 now, maybe.
There you go. Nice. Yeah. I've seen your post. I mean, I'm still liking your posts.
I appreciate it.
And they're getting some engagement now too. I'm like, look at you saying stuff.
Yeah, 100 likes. I've seen the average like around 130. Something like that.
I'm saying things and people are listening, which is cool. And I feel like I was always hesitant to like post anything, especially like with the identity of a cis white woman, talking about social justice stuff. I definitely don't want to take up too much space, but I do think I wanted to talk about it specifically in the field of mental health because, you know, I think if other clinicians see a clinician saying something, maybe it'll get people to recognize or wake up.
100%. Yeah. I love adding people, having people, you know, hop on the pod if they show support and they're saying good shit. I'm like, what's up? You good? You wanna talk? Some folks are like, I'm not the best talker. I'm too anxious. I don't want to do it. And it's fine. I usually swing back around after like a year and be like, you good now?
Did you resolve your issues?
Did you got the anxiety in check? Like, we can give you some drugs. Like, we can get this done.
Just give you that slip.
Oh my God.
Like a weekend at Bernie's. We get it done, man. We make sure.
Yep. We haul around your dead body. Yep. Makes sense. That's the.
We get it done.
What were you going for with that? I don't get that.
Well, we can fake it to act like they're doing the show, but they're dead inside. I don't know.
We just need a body in the chair.
We'll do a show with your dead body.
You got cadavers. We're fine. It's all right.
Yeah, I guess that wasn't that good. That was not a good lead-in. Okay. So, Spence, we got anything else? Or we
I think let's get into the movie.
Okay, yeah, that was pretty weird. So
it's about to get weirder. So I don't know where you think it's gonna go.
There's actually gonna be good education. So
it'll be good. It's gonna get weird and good. All right, here we go.
Let's do it.
So yeah, Get Out. If you don't know the movie, it's about this.
If you don't know the movie, you're racist.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't want to see it. Too many of them.
There's one colored in there. That's enough.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. About this guy who goes to meet his girlfriend's parents. He just happens to be a black guy and she's a white woman. So they went to go see her parents, and this craziness ensues where now we're finding out that both the parents are like in the mental health field. I think psychologist, and then probably a hypnotist / probably a therapist, just uses that. And then we find out that they are taking black bodies and they're switching out the consciousness of them to like these older white people. and it's just all a metaphor, for just all the stuff, just assimilation slash just taking cultures and taking people's bodies as their own.
Appropriation, conquering,
Appropriation, yeah.
all types
All
of
of
shit.
it, really.
Yep.
Slavery is probably in there a little bit,
Yep.
just a smidge.
Yep.
But yeah, great film. And also the actor who actually plays the main character, Chris, Daniel Kaluuya, is actually has his own statue in England now, for Get Out. So it's actually pretty cool that they're recognizing this film for it. So he has his own little statue. It's actually pretty cool when he's in the sunken place and they have it next to like this piece of water and stuff. It's actually really cool. Check it out if you can, if you're in England or on the internet, whatever.
Where in England?
That I do not know. I would assume somewhere in London.
That's what I wondered. Is it London or is it like out in the boons somewhere?
I think no, it's definitely in the metro area, most likely. Yeah, it was a nice fountain, right? It was
I'm like, is it like where only white people go? Like, are black people out there?
They're like, I think I know that guy.
Yeah, did a black person create this and put it like, don't
Black Panther?
Don't come here. I know that's the black guy from Black Panther. I know.
Yeah.
Piece of shit. He went from a role that you loved into that role, but then he turns it around. I don't know.
He's done a lot of great roles where it's like smaller / like more independent films and stuff like that.
Great.
And that's where Jordan Peele was. I mean, he was more independent, and he still is independent. But anyways, so want to talk about this thing of white clinicians, right? That's the first scene. So the first scene is pretty much him going into the sunken place, where the mom is using hypnosis and talking about his past to kind of reel him in, and then hypnotize him and then put him into that sunken place, to where his body is no longer able to move or he's not conscious as well. So talking about like white clinicians, and talking about them speaking to people of color, those areas, like in your experience, how do you kind of navigate those conversations, and what do you see that is maybe problematic in other areas by people who may be not able to navigate those areas as well?
Sure. Yeah. I think for me, I'm relatively direct in addressing the conversation of race because it's like a pretty obvious thing. I part of my, I guess, theory that I follow is intersectional feminist theory, which is basically understanding how all your identities overlap and create a unique experience of power and oppression. So upon meeting people, usually I will discuss my identities and like what that looks like and how they might influence the space. I mean, there's obviously a power dynamic within the therapeutic setting inherently, but then even more so when you're a white clinician, speaking to a person of color or a neurodivergent person or someone who is 2S LGBTQAA plus. So it's really kind of discussing it and letting it be a topic that can be discussed, because often if you don't bring it up, the client might not bring it up. Right. And so I just wanted, so that's what I try to do, is try to make myself like not the center of attention, but like, okay, this is who I am. And I know this is what I bring to the space. And I guess what I see for other clinicians, particularly white women clinicians, I just don't talk about that. Just avoid talking about that. It doesn't matter. We're all people. You just have to focus on the symptoms, and it totally decontextualizes people's experience.
What's that word mean? Decontextualize.
So decontextualizing is essentially taking like a disparate part of something. So someone comes in with anxiety and you say, okay, I'm just going to treat your racing thoughts. But then you are just addressing the racing thoughts without recognizing, okay, they're having racing thoughts about their ability to pay rent, keeping a roof over their head, working 60 hours a week while also having to raise kids. Like, so you're not seeing all of the bigger things that are impacting the person that are resulting in the physical manifestation of anxiety, which is a normal reaction to all of these really hard things to deal with.
The reason why I wanted to bring attention to that, I didn't know we were going to step in this puddle, but this is a good puddle. Is that a lot of folks that are listening to this podcast have a lot of different mental health issues for a lot of different reasons. And it's not just one thing that's causing it. It's a totality of all your lived experiences, all the identities, money, capital, all of it, gender, race, and they all contribute to what's going on. And some of it is generational. You don't even understand why it's freaking you out, but it's something that your grandma went through or experienced, and it courses through your DNA, or it's passed down trauma. So you're not just in the office for one thing. Yeah, I got anxiety. All right, homie, we're gonna back this thing up and see what's going on by diving into all the different aspects. Let's give you some skills first, but then we need to back up. So this decontextualizing is not usually a thing that I see from a lot of therapists. They'll just be like, oh, I'm gonna give you the skills. You're gonna breathe. You're gonna be good. And most of my autistic clients are like, what? Like, no, that's not. Or you get someone else in there with a lot of shit and they're like, no. And so they'll come to my office. You're not going to give me a book? No, I'm not going to give you a fucking book and tell you to breathe. We got a lot of shit to talk about. At the end of the session, though, I always tease them. So we're going to work on breathing now. And they're like, I fucking hate you.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you brought that up, because social workers usually are better at this. LPC is a little bit better at this, but psychologists, not the best. Doctors, psychiatrists, not the best.
Psychiatrist, yeah, especially with the biomedical model where you're seeing things as just like a quote unquote chemical imbalance, even though that's like highly problematic within itself.
Yep.
And that brings in big pharma and diagnosis and the impact that has. So yes, yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So going where Spence was going, you talked about this thing of, so you're navigating these experiences, right, with folks of color, Medicaid, this and that. Do you as a clinician feel like it's inappropriate for you to be in those spaces? This is a weird question, but, you know, because there's not other body. If there's other bodies, then show up. But then, right, there's not sometimes. And so then it's you that's showing up in this space. And so I just wondered, does it feel awkward or like you're taking up space sometimes? It's just a random question. I'm sure no one ever really asked that question because it's a hard one to answer. It's like, oh yeah, I feel like a piece of shit working here.
Well, I'm not going to say I feel like a piece of shit, but no, I do. I do absolutely to a degree, because I do believe representation matters, and finding someone that holds identities similar to yours with similar cultural understandings, like the power within that, and developing that comfortability earlier on, maybe than that you would have with, or that you might ever have with a white clinician, that matters. Like that, I think, you know, one of the number one things for client outcomes is the relationship with the clinician. So me as a white person coming in contact with Black or brown folk, or folks, or you know, people who hold marginalized identities, if we're not going to connect that way, I don't take it personally. And I will also discuss that with people, of finding someone who does hold those identities. But this actually brings me to a great point, because there is this huge push to diversify our field, right? This massive push to bring more Black and brown clinicians in, neurodivergent clinicians, you know, people with marginalized identities. But, and like I said, representation absolutely matters. But my concern is, from the field's perspective, they collapse people's identities into what they believe is most salient, saying, oh, because you're Black, then you must obviously want a Black clinician. Or when their most salient identity might be being a male, or, you know, being gay, or whatever the case may be. And that might be something that they might want to work on better. So they're within that can sometimes create a monolith and break people's marginalized identities down just into one
subsections.
thing.
So they'll pigeonhole clients, but they'll also pigeonhole therapists, Spence.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, nah, you want to work with the coloreds, don't you? I mean, I was cool talking to these autistic kids over here, but like, I mean, I guess if you want me to. So they always think that I'm always going to be massive on like racial stuff or racial topics, which I am, but also I like to pivot to other people can handle that in the office. There's other people that are international, diverse, right? I'm like, I'm the only one that can handle this population, but like, you're really good at talking and you know all this stuff, but like other people can handle it too. Like, let me go talk to this pop.
Also with that,
Go
it's
ahead.
also like where you're from and stuff too. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, you could be Black and grew up in a very nice neighborhood, very nice setting and things like that. Both parents, which people sometimes don't think that people of color actually have, both parents. And so going along with that, it's just more of like also it also matters what your therapist background is with that too. It's not just about their skin color, it's about where their background is and where they come from. Nas, for example, you grew up in the hood, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's different from then, you know, going from somebody, you know, and not the fact that you can't work with people who aren't from the hood. It's more about just working with people that also have that connection with you and have also the same background and same just
lived experience
that they've been lived experiences that you've been through as well, because then you can work with them a little bit easier and it's easier for you to open them up, you know, when you're talking with them. So it's sometimes it does matter having the skin color in there just to be like, hey, glad you're here and glad there's more people like us here in this field. But at the same time, it's also growing up with people who like just have that same experience that you've lived.
Commonalities.
Also, that helps.
Commonalities.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes them therapists, they be like, well, you shouldn't tell people shit. I'm going to tell people shit when I need to make sure that bond is tight. Make sure that is tight. All good, all great stuff. Where else are we going on this list? Because there was a lot you wanted to get to, and I want to make sure you wanted to get to these topics, Jessica.
Sure. Yes. Absolutely. So the next thing that I was kind of I mean, if I'm okay with directing it a little bit, I was going to talk about the co-opting of a Indigenous healing method, which was the hypnosis. And how it becomes culturally appropriated and whitewashed and commodified to meet capitalistic standards. So with Indigenous healing practices, I was doing research on it because I didn't know where hypnosis came from. And Indigenous peoples have been using hypnosis-like processes in, you know, rituals and healing practices for thousands of years. But then some dude named Franz Anton Mesmer was Austrian, so he's white, so he gets to be like, oh, Germans. I made it. And so, but one of the main issues, or I guess from my perspective that I see, is that this oftentimes for Indigenous peoples, their healing practices and their rituals are a reason that white colonizers used to justify their colonization by saying, you're savage, you're less than, look at all this weird stuff you're doing. This isn't how us like white British folks do things. So like, clearly we're better than you. So then they would, part of colonization is cultural erasure. So in the US, for Indigenous peoples here from 1883 to like the late 70s, Indigenous peoples were prohibited from practicing their cultural and religious beliefs and ceremonies and everything, their language, and were really forced to do like practice Christianity and that kind of stuff. And so then for us, oftentimes what you'll see in this field is healing practices are kind of, again, decontextualized, stripped of their original ritualistic meanings, other things they're part of, like such as mindfulness and Buddhism or acceptance in Buddhism, and repackaged and then sold by white women. So.
Forefront.
Bruh. So isn't it's crazy. It's gone full circle, Spence.
It is.
So it was taken from one population. It was cleaned up of all the, dirty ass immigrants, Well, technically they was the originals, but the immigrants.
The immigrants that were here before us.
Yes.
So you clean it up and you're like, oh man, it look good, man. Spray some perfume on it and shit, And then they're like, man, these white women gonna eat this meditation shit up, man.
Mm-hmm.
And then they start selling it because the shit works. And then, now people of color and indigenous people don't want to do this shit.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, that's what white people do, but the shit actually works and it came from your population. Ain't that some shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also a problem where now we're getting to the point where we're banning and burning books again in certain states. And so even if we have the other side of things that are saying a different viewpoint,
or
those
the
are
origin.
getting, or the origin. Like it's going away. And so you can't even hear those voices again. And why would I want to try and create something different in this space if it's just going to be forgotten or gotten rid of? It's one of those things where it's just like you really are fighting against the tide, and it's sometimes you sink.
Yeah,
so.
It's like, oh, this fucking sucks.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that. I knew meditation, a lot of mindfulness is like an Eastern thing too, but it looks like a lot of indigenous folks were practicing it too. So there's a bunch of cultures were doing this stuff, but it gets sold and repackaged in a different way. And the funny thing is I see a lot of these counselors do it and they suck at it. They suck at doing the meditation. They suck at because they don't believe it and they don't use it. So then the clients can't fucking use it because they don't believe in it. But they'll put some videos out there of like doing all this deep breathing shit, but then they can't teach their clients because they don't actually know how to go through the actual visual and the sensory issues and actually do some of the pseudo hypnosis. Because you actually got to believe in the shit and you got to do it. It's tough. And then you got to put your one voice on, your ASMR voice, right? You gotta get in the mood.
Yes. Wow. What were you doing?
Can you hear the raindrops? Yeah, can you hear the raindrops?
It was slowly happening. I can picture it.
You're sunken now.
Oh, God.
I'm glad that you brought that up and then actually put some citations to like where its original source is from, which I did not know, which is kind of dope. I think we do this in a bunch of different ways in counseling and medical field too, though. We just take stuff.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look at this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's not saying like, oh, never use it, but like understand where understand where it came from and practice it from people who like have the full package of it, not just someone who kind of came up with it or found it 5 minutes ago and now they're the expert.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Research matters.
I feel like now that I know this, right, I can convince more people of color to do like, hey man, this is our folks.
Yeah.
It's our folks.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And also I do want to add on, like, yes, they also gave, like, they wanted to make sure that they would make sure that especially natives would be assimilated to the culture of religion, but they also gave them that, and then they also gave them liquor too, and then that also was a huge factor into dulling the minds of people who had never done this stuff before. And a lot of natives now are actually allergic to liquor. They still are. They have been. And it's interesting to also see the fact like they implemented not only religion and just culture wise, but they brought in booze and disease with that to really try to wipe out the people.
They wiped out a lot of stuff. They also, a lot of social workers in my field stole their kids and then gave them to white women for adoption. So I mean, there's a lot of reasons why this shit was sus back in the day, man. It's horrible.
Yeah. And that still happens in places like where they will take it from, they will take children from indigenous people and give them to people, or even the schools up in Canada, where kids were brutalized and were told that their parents didn't want them when they literally stole them from their parents. It's horrible. Horrible.
Great film to watch. Killer of the Flower Moon, by the way. Great film.
I heard it was good.
Martin Scorsese. Great job.
Oh, I need to watch it then. Okay.
Yes.
I know I wanted to do, this is a real pivot, and then we'll get back to the subject she wanted to touch on.
Yes.
So I was watching. This is gonna come off weird. So you're watching Dexter and the New Blood one, right, Spence? Have you seen the New Blood one?
Yeah.
So one of the hidden undertones, though, is the murder of all these indigenous women, and none of these fucking white cops care. And you know, it's been brought up recently in the last few years, more and more and more. Specifically, some of the folks that are queer too. Like, man, that's a story that I wanted to touch on. It's just people don't give a shit. But you know, they look like Jessica. They be like, oh shit, we gotta save Jessica.
Yeah,
like
it's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. I mean, there was that girl, a couple of years ago. Where was it? Her boyfriend, like they were camping or whatever, and then her boyfriend murdered her, and everyone was freaking out. And it's like, but what about all of the
other
missing Black and brown kids all across the country? Like,
not good. All these indigenous women, though, it's like legit fucking terrible. I forgot, but homeboy at I think it was the Golden Globes, the dude from that Res Dogs, he had that redded thing on his face.
Yeah.
That was the first time I heard about it. And I'm like, that does make sense. That 100% makes sense. Let's keep it moving. What else did you want to touch on?
I think the next thing was the policing of people of the global majority. So the field of mental health in this country, I should at least say, was created to weaponize, or was weaponized to create conditions for perpetual enslavement. So starting from like the 1840s, there was a census that came out and said that free Black people were 10 times more likely to be insane. And then in 1851, there was Samuel Cartwright with Drapetomania, how, this uncontrollable urge to be free. And then following the 13th Amendment, which was the abolition of slavery, in 1865, Virginia opened up the Central Lunatic Asylum for the colored insane, where they shipped or imprisoned thousands of Black people indiscriminately under the guise that they have mental health conditions or that they're insane because they're no longer enslaved. And treatment was always forced confinement and labor. So essentially, enslavement was the treatment for the Black people suffering enslavement.
Ain't that a bitch?
Yeah. Like, you're free. Never mind. Just get back over there.
You don't like being free. What you want to be is a slave. Got it.
Yeah.
Have you tried slavery?
You know what? I'm in shape.
In shape. Holy fuck.
Yeah. And throughout the 20th century, the Black women were sterilized at alarming rates due to things like eugenics and this idea of racial betterment, and also, confined. And civil rights protesters who were institutionalized were given the diagnosis of protest psychosis, which fell under schizophrenia because they showed like agitation and weren't cooperative. And so that's
have you
kind
tried
of like
slavery?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to do it. Well,
you're going to prison and we're going to make it work. Hey,
exactly.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick. Sorry. Shout out to all the firefighters out in California, 30% of which are inmates. So shout out to all the inmates sacrificing their lives for a country that probably doesn't even like them. So shout out to y'all.
Absolutely.
But yeah, this is some wild shit. Jessica, you learn all this in school? No, you had to learn this after school. This after school stuff.
No, this is this was never discussed in school. And this is like why I try to raise awareness and like why I started the Instagram page to begin with, because I was like, people need to know this stuff. Like, our field is deeply problematic and everyone just says, oh, just go to therapy. Like, therapy will heal you. And us as a field, if we're not talking about it, we're not, unearthing all of these problems, getting to the root of the problem, and then moving forward productively. We silence any dissent and say, no, this is right. All these people benefit from it.
Wow. So it reminds me, right? This clip, Spence. This unconsensual thing, what they do with folks, they do it a lot with like court mandated stuff. They do it a lot with clients that are aggressive. They'll see that they're aggressive, right? White clinicians, some of my Asian counterparts, international Asian counterparts, like, oh, Nas, he was getting angry and aggressive, so we're gonna have him hospitalized. Like, hold up now, homeboy, good. Homeboy in my office and good. We don't call the police now. Everything was fine until you start fucking with him and you pissed him off. Well, he's a danger to himself because he punched the wall. A lot of people punch the wall. He ain't gonna punch nobody else, right? He's not cutting himself. He's fine. And so it's crazy when I get these clients and they'll be agitated from the counselor. And then their first move is to like, I'm gonna have you institutionalized. I'm like, wow, that's wild. Like, I wonder how many people the police are called on. And like, I'm actually fine, like calling the police if it's like legit, you're going to take your own life. Like, this is going to happen and we both consent to it. Let's do it. Like, they be calling police on folks that are fine. And they're the reason why they're tweaking. And so the reason why this fits in, Spence, is like, they're like, have you tried slavery? Because you're going to prison. It's like, you know how bad that can fuck someone up?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know that officer could kill them? And like, if it's, unless they're trained and all that, like, it's just wild, man. They love putting folks into these boxes. So when I'm watching that white lady, Spence, I'm like, bro, she's out here pulling stuff out of him that he doesn't want to talk about. He doesn't need to talk to her about anything. You're not his therapist. You can't just be pushing like, oh, you shouldn't smoke around my daughter. You're out here fucking stealing people's black bodies with like,
Got a point, right? It's just like, even if it is a smaller, like, bad thing that you're doing, it doesn't really matter because they're black. And so it's, to them, it's worse, right? No matter what, like, oh, you're smoking around my daughter, blah, blah, blah,
What else are you doing?
Yeah, but it's like they have the right to determine what you are or are not allowed to do.
Right. It's control.
Yeah. Yes.
Which
absolutely
is intriguing. So I never really thought of therapy in this controlling way. And I've been seeing a lot of you people. You woke motherfuckers.
Yeah.
The white tees, if you know what I'm saying.
The white tees.
Absolutely.
I've been seeing them say all this shit. There's another, black woman that I've seen posting a lot of stuff. That you and her like a lot of each other's stuff. I forgot her name. It's like patriarchal or something like that. Something like Pat first.
Oh yeah. Pat. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I see them posting some stuff and I'm like, okay. But that's not the way I operate. So you're like, I didn't do that. I wasn't there. I wasn't that slave guy. I don't know. But so I feel myself doing it sometimes. It's good to know the origins though about what happened.
Yeah, because now if we look at it, Black people, specifically Black men, are more likely to be given the diagnosis of schizophrenia, which is, considered a more, like I said earlier, hardcore diagnosis, because literally the DSM diagnostic criteria for schizophrenia was written based on observations from clinicians of Black people in institutions. So it was literally designed to be a diagnosis for Black people so they could be institutionalized. And people with schizophrenia are more likely to have, or people with the diagnosis of schizophrenia are more likely to be seen as dangerous, have the cops called on them, be potentially murdered. So if you're Black or brown, and there's this diagnostic criteria that they just associate with you that are more likely to be imprisoned, the treatment for schizophrenia and who gets diagnosed with schizophrenia are Black people who are then confined and do forced labor.
America.
Yeah, that's intense. I didn't know a lot of that. Look at that. Spence, we getting an education today. I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable. It is. It is.
Yeah.
I don't like it. And there's a white lady teaching it to me, so I don't like it.
Yeah.
I know.
You stealing our history.
I'm
You're
really
stealing our
sorry.
history and telling you repackaging it. Let me guess. You want me to breathe after this?
Huh?
Oh God.
I'll deep breath all I want.
I'll do it my way. No. Yeah, what's movies that from? No.
I have no.
But that's from a movie for sure.
It's from a movie.
It's definitely autistic. I'm sorry that we're going in a lot of different directions, but I knew we haven't touched on these topics in depth, and you seem to have the ability to actually articulate, right? Where I've had other guests come on and they just kind of like say general things, but you're being very specific and statistical, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
good.
that I am a person who likes to understand. Like I ask why a lot. Like why? Well, why does that happen? Why is this happening? And I think people get annoyed by it, but I do think it makes me a pretty good researcher.
Yeah, researcher. So when did you realize you were autistic? That was a joke. That was a joke.
When did you start eating chicken nuggets? When what age? It was early on.
When did you start? Do you got sensory issues? Let's talk about it.
She's like, yeah.
Not every autistic person is good at research, but
yes,
the way
absolutely.
that you preach to me, I enjoy it compared to some of my other colleagues that have been on the pod. More ADHD takes over. So it's a lot of generalness. And me and Spencer, like, okay, you said a word and a lot of other stuff. Love them. Great people, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
But it's just very, Spencer's like, they're just too general.
Shut the fuck up.
They're too general.
Well, it's like, it's not that they won't shut up, but like if you have a point and you're going towards something, you're getting to that point and you lay out a nice story about it, then that's great. Go on a tangent all you want.
Yeah.
I don't care. But once you kind of lose sight of that and then you start skipping towards other things, that's why I'm like, okay.
ADHD's a motherfucker, boy.
And I'm just like, all right, let's move on.
Yeah. All right.
You know?
So were there a couple more things? I feel like there were, but I know we also got to get to the next scene.
Yeah.
I guess like the one I was going to talk about non-consensual care, which we kind of touched on.
Yep.
And like how performing services or whatever without the consent of a person.
So actually, I want you to stay on that topic, but I want you to speak to it like you're talking to someone that's neurodivergent, autistic, or maybe they just don't know their rights or what's appropriate in therapy. So what does this consensual stuff mean? What does this mean a clinician should or shouldn't do, or a client should know or shouldn't know? Help us out with this, because a lot of folks haven't been in a therapy that listen to us.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them have been, and they've been traumatized because shit's been forced.
Yeah. So consensual care is when a person understands what is going to be happening to them, what the risks are, what the benefits are, and then they agree to go forward with it. And non-consensual is basically someone taking the power from the person to decide and saying you're going to be a harm to yourself or someone else, or you aren't capable of making this decision, so I'm going to make it for you. And those are kind of the reasons why they would say you can proceed with something non-consensually is under those couple of guidelines or whatever, I guess.
I feel like a lot of therapists just push their agenda in therapy and never really do what the client wants or needs. Would you agree with that?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, there's that power dynamic that comes with I'm educated and I'm the one sitting in the chair. So I know better than you.
I'm sure folks are sick of me maybe saying this stuff, and Spence too, because we've preached this for 2 years now. So you as a therapist, as a woman, because many people that listen to us are women, when they're in therapy and they feel like something's weird or they don't want to do it, but a lot of people are going to be anxious too, a lot of anxiety. They don't want to make their therapist angry or switch to another one. How can they advocate for themselves to be like, this is what, for more affirming care? That's a good word. How can they advocate? What would your advice, or could you role play a conversation on what they would say, how they would say it?
Let's just say that I was the person receiving the care and I wasn't comfortable.
Yes, let's do that.
I would say, can you explain to me again what the purpose of this exercise is, or what the hope is, or what I should be getting out of this? And with the intention of hopefully the clinician will either better explain it, or first of all, maybe pick up on the hesitancy to begin with. And if they, say this is what it is and you're still uncomfortable, I would say, we're always talking about how I need to set better boundaries. I'm going to set one now. I'm not super comfortable moving forward in that direction. I'd much rather pivot this way. This feels more safe for me, more important for me. Maybe we can come back to that later if there's, something there.
I'm going to play the role of the therapist real quick. But we should probably work and talk on this. Don't you want to talk and work on this?
No, I'm good.
Is there something else you would like to talk about or work on?
Yeah, I'd like to talk about this, actually. This has been bothering me more.
Well, you're just being a little fucking punk, and you're going to do what I say you do. Yeah. Little snowflake.
Okay, well, I guess I'm...
So the reason why I brought that up is because a lot of clients, I'm like, hey, I'm autistic as a motherfucker in the session. So I tell my certain clients that, and if you want to go in a certain direction, you just got to tell me, kid. You come in with agenda, a topic, things you want to do. Do you want to do the breathing exercises? Do you want to talk about trauma? Do you want to talk about your Pokemon first? Do you want to nerd out? Do you want to talk about your dating stuff first and then get into all the other shit? What is it you want to do with the session? I've got clients very comfortable now where they're like, Nas, I want to talk about something different. Okay. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Why didn't you just tell me you were done? Was it good? Was it good for you?
But I think it's also a good gauge for you to see how your therapist responds to you switching gears. Because if it's like they have a problem with that, then at least from my perspective as a clinician, that might not be the right clinician for you.
Correct. So folks, ask questions, set boundaries, get things very clear, come in with an agenda if you want to. You can email them ahead of time if you want to.
Absolutely.
If you don't want to talk about something because it's tweaking you out, or you just don't want to go into the week or your exam, or you got a birthday party to go to right afterwards, and don't talk about that thing. If you want to get it off your chest, get it off your chest. You navigate the care. You're paying for it. Don't let someone, that's why I call everyone boss and said, you the boss. What are we talking about today, boss? They're like, I don't know, Nas. Ask me questions until I figure out what I want to talk about. I'm like, okay. Okay, I can do that. Spence, away from all the clinical stuff, what's your favorite part of this scene? Right? Because this is the whole fucking, or creepiest part.
It's definitely like the visual. I mean, you can kind of see him as his younger self, just sitting there scratching on the bedpost. And that's just like how his like nervous tick. And then all of a sudden you just see him sink and then go into like this sunken place, which I find interesting because it's also like there's always that that thing of just like black people who like can't swim and shit too. So I think like that might play also into that part as well, of just being in this like place of uncomfortability where you can't move or do anything.
It's a trap.
Which like maybe Jordan Peele like thought of that, or maybe I'm just being an asshole. I don't know. But I just also find that interesting of that. And then he's just in this place of where it's like this television, and that's the only thing he can see, and he can't do anything or say anything from there. It's interesting. I like it.
Visual for me is the besides all the racial context, it's just falling into like a pit. So falling into anxiety or depression, and you're just drowning and you're suffocating and you're dying, but you can still see the TV and the light. So you think that you're alive and you're going about things, but things are different and it's dissociative. And then finally someone talks and you're like, holy fuck, I'm fucked. And by the time you get to that, you're already missing work. You're already extremely suicidal. You've already been angry and yelled at people. It's almost too late. In your mind, it's almost too late, but it's never too late. So my thing is, how do you get out of the sunken place? And I guess that's the $1 million question, because it's different for everyone. Some kid asked me yesterday in a consultation, he said, what's your treatment for like folks that are autistic? I said, anyone that answers that question, don't work with them. They said, why do you say that? Because there's a million different fucking reasons to work with someone that's autistic. There's a million different things that could be going on. So I said, I will not answer that question because we're going to be here for like an hour and I'm about to go eat. So like, this is a 15-minute phone call, kid. He's like, oh.
That McRib.
I was like, that McRib, which is pretty much just code word for toes at this time. I was like, yeah, homie, I can't answer that. So that sunken place is a bitch. I think we've all been there. I think many of us feel like we're there even when we're happy. So I don't know. With Spencer's metaphor, is it to teach them to swim? Is it teach them to make the picture bigger? Is it teach them to get more comfortable with the darkness? I don't fucking know. Therapy is complicated. Life and depression is complicated. Creepiest part to me is just the stirring. The second thing is the clawing, but the biggest visual was the drowning. But the stirring. And I don't like the way she looks at him. I don't like the way she looks at him. It is not a caring face. That's a very stoic, book smart motherfucker. That's a very numbers based, statistic based individual. Not just her, in the real world. That's someone that probably doesn't give two shits about you. There's no emotion. And I'm autistic and I don't move my face a lot. You can see it in people's eyes if they care or have love. She ain't had no love, bro. She saw him as a slave, an object. That's probably a different pot for a different day, Spence, to tell, to help people figure that out. But you can see it in some clinicians. Jessica, I know you've seen it too. You're like, you don't give a fuck. You can just see it in their eyes, their body, their posture, the way they talk. I don't even really care about person first language and all that shit. I'm not talking about that type of talk. You can tell the way they talk about their clients with love and like excitement and like, we getting shit done. We're going to get you to graduate. We're going to get your kids back. We're going to get you off a drug. Like, they're excited. And then you got the other ones like, yeah, I fucking hate this person. Oh yeah, it's just one of my other drug addicts. No, that's another black dude on Medicaid. Reason why I bring this up is because people fuck with me about being different. But then they'll be like, oh, we know you love students. But then they use that to hold it against me. It's the most fucked up thing.
Oof. Yeah.
I'm like, I literally hope, I'm not going to say the other word, but yeah, I literally hope you get injured. The people that say that to me.
Hope you stub your toe.
Yeah. And that's a metaphor for something else. We're going to pivot from murder.
Oh, God.
Again.
Well, it leads that way. Well, welcome to the TISM. Spence, introduce us to the second scene and then guide us through this.
Yeah. So, obviously, after Chris's sunken place experience, and then he's finally kind of seeing this party, right? And it's a mysterious party where it's mainly all white people and like one Asian dude. And then we also meet this guy named Logan / Andre, and he has a very different way of how he's talking and how he's speaking. He's with this older white lady, and he looks like he's just like decrepit in a way. Like his body language looks like he's decrepit, and the way he's speaking, he sounds like he's very well educated. Older man, he sounds like. Then all of a sudden, Chris uses his flash on his phone to take a picture of him, and that all of a sudden, like, you even see in his eyes, like the television starts going away, and then all of a sudden Andre comes out and he's telling him to get out, right? Telling Chris, get out, don't do this, blah blah blah. So he somehow got out of the sunken place with the noise or with the flash, and that awoken him. And then forwarding onto the scene, after everything was said and done, they're saying, oh, he had a stroke or whatever.
Seizure.
Yeah, or a seizure. Sorry, seizure. He had a seizure, and that's the reason why he was acting all funny. And then obviously the mom comes back out from having another sunken place session saying like, oh, he's fine and all that. And then all of a sudden now he's back to speaking very eloquently. And, and then we also have the scene where his girlfriend is telling him like, hey, like, my dad said, he's like, he's a neuroscientist. He knows what's going on up there. How you gonna say like, what's happening when he knows?
Yeah.
And then all the while there's this weird bidding going on during the scene, most likely because I have not actually seen this film. I've just,
Oh.
yeah, I know.
What?
Yeah, I've not actually seen this film.
You're racist.
Before. Yeah. I was like, no go.
Bro, hey, some of them black trauma movies, bro. No. My dad can't watch that shit
it's
either.
More of like I don't like scary movies.
Oh,
shit,
that's it. Yeah.
That it's that like, once it goes to like slavery movies, I'm like, no, that's not happening.
Yeah, my dad can't watch some shits anymore. I don't watch them
that
anymore.
shit.
Yeah.
Another black man getting beaten again. Like, I'm okay. Also, like some of the movies like with cop stuff. I'm like, no, I'm all right. I'm good.
That's why I couldn't watch that Chicago 6 or whatever, the Netflix joint about all the guys that Trump was trying to get killed and all that, and like in prisons. I forgot what that was called.
Yeah.
Those boys that went on trial. I was like, I'm not. They're like, you should watch it. It's fantastic during COVID. I'm like, why the fuck I want to watch that?
No.
I don't want to watch these boys go to prison.
No.
Unjustly. But I got you.
It was like that one movie you fucking showed me with Jamie Foxx and Brie Larson where he's like on death row.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was depressing. That was
Mercy. It was called Just Mercy. That was fucked up.
Yeah. Oh, like, wow. This is.
Yeah. That was probably the last time you ever took advice from me.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, I'm not listening to your movie.
Never fucking watching this again.
You're like, wow, this is a great film. I'm like,
watch this black man strive for.
I'm going to look at this summary first. Black man struggling. Nope.
No,
not doing I'm not this time.
White woman struggling. I'll sign up for that.
I don't need to know anymore.
You'll sign up for the white girl struggling. You'll be like, oh, this feels good.
Ah, yes, finally. The thing I've been waiting for.
All right.
Wait a
She's like,
minute now.
calm down. We got issues too, Spencer. We got issues too.
Look, my BMW's in the shop, okay?
My kids'
drive a
diapers
Volkswagen,
don't.
sir.
My kids' diapers don't fit. Give me a
I
break.
drive a Volvo, okay?
They put too many cubes in my latte.
Yeah.
Do white men even struggle?
It's watered down now. How am I supposed to get my caffeine high?
She throws it at him. You fucking migrant.
Take this as your tip. Get another job.
Come the 20th. Right. I swear to God, come tomorrow. Jessica's going to completely change. She's going to go into her full like
red hat.
She's going full Confederacy. Come tomorrow.
Oh no.
She's like, it's my time.
Oh no. Yeah.
The South shall rise again.
I'm so sorry, Jessica.
That seems like me. Yeah.
Oh shit. Almost passed out.
Anyways.
But yeah, you didn't watch the movie.
No.
Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Even though great film, great filmmaker.
Have you watched his other scary movies or no? Like Us and all that? No,
I haven't seen any of them. Because I was like, I don't do scary shit. So I'm like, you're not for me. And all he does is horror films.
I know.
I'm like, come on, man. Help me out here.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
So,
Goosebumps was scary enough for me this weekend. That was scary enough. Yeah.
The kid's scary too.
Hey man, there's some scary one. That motherfucking doll coming at you. My worst nightmare. A puppet.
All right.
Puppets,
Jesus.
Puppets kill you now. Man.
They do.
That motherfucker turns his head at the end of every episode. I'm like, God damn it. Stop saying that. Incantation. Stop saying it.
Yeah. There's a new movie coming out called like The Monkey or something. It's about this like toy monkey.
Yeah.
That like kills people when it like beats the drum. It's like pretty much like the devil. It's like a monkey toy or something like that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Traumatized.
It's coming out from the guy who did Long Legs and John and another guy who's known for his horror movies. He did like The Ring and stuff.
Oh, that shit's probably gonna be terrifying.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nope. Sign me up for some good white oppression. I'll feel good with that one. But
all right, so let's talk about.
I love her face. She's like, yeah. Shut up, Jessica. Okay. We don't want that either. I'm gonna silence you right now from talking, even though you weren't talking. I just need to quiet.
I just need you to mute.
Your face is doing too much.
Yeah.
Fix your face.
Fix your face. I'm gonna police you now. Your body, my choice.
How are the roles reversed now?
Yeah. Your body, my choice. So.
Oh my God.
Forever. Oh. Sorry. Shout out Nick Fuentes, who's a piece of shit. Yeah, okay. Back to the show.
Yeah.
Spencer, lead us, please. Lead me.
I'm trying. You won't.
Shut the fuck up.
All right. Medical gaslighting. Let's talk about that, right? So what is it? Like, what is medical gaslighting and how can people really, fight it, I guess?
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, I'm sure there's actually a technical definition, but for me, it's just kind of making a person feel inadequate for their own understanding of their body and their experience because of the degree they hold. So like in the movie, you could see Chris's lived experience of his cousin with epilepsy.
Epilepsy, yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Was totally dismissed by his girlfriend because her dad is a neurosurgeon. So obviously he knows better. And that happens a lot in communities of color, for women of color in particular. So people of marginalized status are more likely to experience medical gaslighting, unfortunately.
Big times. Hopefully you can remember this, or maybe I can text you about this, but this is very important. A lot of my autistic women, neurodivergent women, will be told that they're wrong, that this isn't right, this isn't correct. So my women will go and be like, hey, I'm pretty sure I got POTS. I'm 90, I fit all the symptomology, right? And they're like, no, you don't have POTS because of this or that. Or, yeah, I think I might have like polycystic ovaries because I meet all these symptoms. No, you don't have that. And they'll be denied blood work expense, be not denied testing. This is real shit. It's not just like fake. This is what my women go through. They'll be like, you don't have PMDD. My client's like, no, I'm pretty sure I got PMDD, premenstrual dysphoric disorder. Like I'm fucking going bonkers. And it'll just be delayed, the care, delayed. The referral won't be met. They'll try other medication first. And it's like, can I talk to a specialist about this one thing? You're a family doctor. You don't know everything, homie. It's wild, bro. Some of my women will be like, pretty sure I got ADHD. Doctor's like, no, you don't, because you're not disabled. I insert R word. And I'm like, what? You're not autistic because you're not disabled. What? You don't have social anxiety because like you can get out of your house and like walk and talk. What? My women get treated like shit, bro. One of them came back. She's like, this is what he said to me. I was like, fuck. She's like, I'm not going back. You need to find me a new doctor. All right, girl. I got you back. It's interesting that the same doctor, white woman, all my neurospicy women feel like shit with. All of them. I'm like, They all say the same exact thing. Like, I wonder why you're getting treated like shit. Is it you or is it her? Because everyone has the same issue. I'm like, y'all getting gaslit. Of course you hate her ass. You're getting gaslit. The reason why I bring this up,
and then you question your own experience. Yeah.
Bro, the girl said this is what's going on with her body. Maybe let's talk about what's going on with her body. No, you're good. Try these two things. Try breathing. The white version of breathing.
That worked. Wow.
That's the whitest air ever. Bro, it's wild.
It smells nice. Like candy canes.
So my neurodivergent women, please change doctors. Talk to your therapist.
Advocate for yourself. Yeah.
If you need your therapist to co-sign and send you a letter, give me permission to send a letter. I'll send that shit. I'll talk to your doc.
Yeah.
I saw the meds for one client recently. I'm like, hold the phone. About 50 different meds. Girl, you even know why you're taking these meds? Nope. I'm going to talk to the doc.
Yeah.
I talked to the doc. He was actually cool as shit. And then he explained why certain meds were on the roster. I was like, okay, that makes sense. You should inform the client that's why they're on them.
Yeah. So just take these. Okay.
She's like, I don't even know why I take these. I'm like, that's not good.
No.
Girl, some of these are controlled substances. We need to know why we're taking these. So advocate. Please advocate. You are not crazy. TikTok didn't diagnose you. Well, that's gone now. But like
for now,
please, it'll come back. They're gonna cut a deal with China and get a shit ton of money. It's all a hustle. All right. So this gaslighting, it's a thing. And we don't just do it with black and brown bodies. We do it like I feel like almost everyone, just certain people face it more than others.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Why do you think that is? Is it just straight up just misogyny and racism? Or is it, I feel like that's pretty much it. Is it something else?
I think it's misogyny, racism, and the field itself is rooted in a lot of like problematic things. I mean, for Black people, medical doctors used to believe that Black people didn't feel as much pain as white people. That's why they're less likely to prescribe pain medications for Black people. So even though it's like obviously inaccurate and it doesn't make sense, you know, but these things like stick around and it gets passed down. And again, here comes like the decontextualization of all this racist background gets, oh, just don't remember that stuff. We're just going to take this information of like, oh, well, Black people don't feel pain the same as us, so they're fine. When it's just like, what? Like, that's just clearly racism.
I know, Jessica, you do not have to answer this. Sometimes, I get some of the girlies in there, the white girls. I'm like, oh, you poor little thing, you poor little. And then I get some Black or brown guys in there. I'm like, you got this. You're strong. You feel no pain. And I'm like, I've noticed that because we were talking about it, and we're like, yeah, why the fuck do we coddle some of these white kids that we deal with, and we like protect them, and the other ones are like, grit, grind, you're strong, but we don't coddle or affirm or protect or get emotional with them. I was like, bro, what the fuck? Like, how internalized is this shit? Are we all drinking from the same polluted water? Yes.
Yes. 100%. 100%.
It's wild. Even me.
Yeah. That's why it's like we all have to do this work. I think like a lot of it is obviously coping or dealing with internalized supremacy of, groups that hold positions of power, but all of us across the board have been indoctrinated into this system of believing these things.
Spence and Jessica.
Nice. Yeah.
So maybe it's good to seek out a white therapist, because a white woman therapist, because she's gonna coddle you because she's been coddled, or no? Is she still racist enough to not coddle you?
No, she's still racist. No,
but like she's been coddled, so maybe she knows how to coddle more. You get what I'm going with this?
Or now coddled.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I mean, because I can see, like, I've had therapists who are like, yeah, man, don't send me to no dude because he's going to be an asshole. I'm like, he might be a good man.
Yeah.
He might have emotions.
Yeah. Could be good.
They'd be like, give me a woman. I'm like, why? Because she's going to be nice to you? Like,
maybe.
But it's like this internalized patriarchy, sexism of like what a man is supposed to be and what a woman is supposed to be, right? If you have like a hard ass woman therapist, everyone's going to be like, she's a fucking bitch, even if she does the same things her white male counterpart does.
Yeah.
She's a bitch. No, you're right. It does come down to patriarchy and masculinity. Yeah. But like some of my boys, I'm like, who you want? And whenever they request women, I'm like, why you want one? You soft? You want one of those good looking ones? What you mean? What you mean you want a woman? I take offense when I take the screening calls. I'm like, oh, you don't want to talk to me? Is it because if you were to get another dude on the phone, would you book with a dude?
Is it because I'm hairy?
Is it because my head too shiny? It's on the phone. I can't tell.
Yeah, they can. They can hear the bristles.
They're like, you fat. I know it. I'm like, hold up, bitch.
I hear the jowls. I know it.
You hungry, ain't you, motherfucker? Yep.
I heard your breathing really loud.
You got that saliva. I can hear it.
Got something happening.
It's interesting when people ask for certain identities.
Yeah, how it goes.
It is. Ain't that some shit? We all fucked up, man. So everyone out there is neurodivergent. There's some really cool quiz that you can take, or neurotypicals. Those implicit bias ones, those Harvard quiz ones. It's awesome. I love doing those. They actually can kind of fuck with your head because you got to do things quickly. Remember, mine was like, yeah, so you favor brown and Black people, better than white folks, and like I was the only one to get that score. Everyone else got like they love white people on there. I was like, I knew you motherfuckers were racist. I knew it. Even one of the Black counselors. Because they thought I was going to show up like really bad. No, I'm like, no, bitch, I hate y'all. Wait a minute. I probably shouldn't have said that on TV.
What the fuck, man? I'm going to get myself in trouble right now.
I want to be real with you. Like,
Jesus
You're not my favorite.
And that's hilarious because your best friend is like one of the whitest dudes ever.
I know. That's why. But since he's so autistic, is he really white?
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
white.
No. You guys are looking at
the
race.
police will see him as white.
To be fair, yeah, no, he's
his skin tone alone is pale. Like,
but his soul is. I'm not gonna go there. His soul is black.
Exactly.
That's a black man.
No.
Oh no. Oh God, is it the reverse of the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he grew up.
Yeah, he swapped out. He swapped out his white soul with his black soul.
He's fast. He's fast.
There's some old black man running around just white as hell. Like, somewhere in
There's
Michigan.
Some
I
old
don't know
black man
why.
in Saginaw in the hood just drugged out. I mean, Colin is fast. I mean, it's not too often you get a white guy as your, kick returner and your safety. It's not stereotypes of black folk right now.
It's how it goes sometimes.
They said there's not going there.
It's like 1 in a million. every 20 years we get that one white guy.
You get that one white guy.
Fast.
Yep. That feels
like,
no
whoa.
pain. He feels no pain.
Christian
like black
McCaffrey.
people. Yep.
Christian McCaffrey. He was our one.
Peyton Hillis.
Peyton Hillis. Jesus.
Every defensive end that there is that's white. Aiden Hutchinson. You're like,
Jared Allen, my
are
boy.
you a black guy? Troy Aikman, who looks like Jay-Z,
The white Jay-Z.
He is. After you see it, you cannot see it.
If only he could rap.
It's like the Get Out moment. As soon as you see it, you can't see it. All right. Back to the show.
Yeah.
When he takes the snap, I'm going to pivot into a different direction. When he takes the photo, I feel like it's a really good metaphor is when you open your eyes to things. So Jessica opened her eyes to many things today. As soon as you open them, that flash goes off. You're like, holy fuck. I didn't know this information. It makes you want to jump out of your own skin, makes you want to change your majors, makes you want to cut off your parents, makes you understand yourself better. And you want to discern out of the situation, get out. And so I think today's podcast will be that for some folks, some therapists, some women on here. But everyone has that moment in their life where that light bulb goes off and you're like, fuck, I've been blind. My parents lied to me. Maybe my schooling lied to me. Maybe they beat the creativity out of me and they indoctrinated me in this slave mentality to be an engineer or whatever. And you wanted to do a teacher, you wanted to do art, you wanted to be a forester. Spence, have you ever had that light bulb moment for like any random thing where you're like, this is fucking terrible. I'm not doing this.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of something that like specifically, but
Jessica, same question for you.
Yeah. If you got one, I mean, for me, I would just have to say, I guess just interviewing, like we talk about it a lot, but like doing job interviews, it's just like one of the, like, I hate that shit so much. I don't mind it as much now because I've actually gotten to like, I've gotten better with talking with people on the phone. But when it comes to like video interviews where it's just me talking, and I can't put on any type of like charm or anything like that, it sucks, honestly, because I just have to go straight forward, like all the facts and things like that. And sometimes with my mind, I just don't have all the facts in there. And so it's like, now I have to memorize all this shit while also doing it under like 2 minutes and all this stuff. And it's just, for that, I don't like how interviews are done sometimes because they're not conversational. They're all about just tell me what you like to do. What are your biggest fears? Blah, 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 blah. It's just like, can we just like have a conversation and why I'm like good for this role and not just like these basic ass like interview questions that you just wrote down
and you don't even give a shit about.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you're not gonna pick me. So then why am I going into all of this stuff if you're not even gonna give a chance? And it's one of those things where in job interviews have just become just so bleh. Like
for a lot of neurodivergent people, that's why our unemployment rate is in the 90 percentile, 90%. For many of us, it's hard, Spence. Right. I mean, fuck, I think I'm good at them because I'm suave, but then they never pick me. So there's a lot of racial issues my autism takes the wheel and I'm like, here. I'm not good at giving details on certain things, Spence, because I go general because you asked me a general fucking question. I'm going to give you a general fucking answer.
Yeah.
And Spence, I've seen you do interviews. My dad asked me, he's like, how are they going? I'm like, way better than a couple of years ago when we met him. I was like, shit, he did the ones when we were in Yellowstone. I was like, that's fucking awesome. Like, I would have hired him. And it's just constantly, interviews are not made for our population. So the eye-opening thing is how fucked our population, I think that's what you were going for.
Yeah, it is. It is. And then also, let's be honest, it does go based off of like what you look like and how you sound and certain things, even though like we both accomplished a lot of things. We've accomplished a lot of things in these past few years. And yet they're still like, I don't know, I'm gonna pick Trudy or fucking because honestly, we like
she's probably a bitch.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But we're like, the thing is like we're both in fields where majority are actually white women that are in this. Like I just found that out like a few months ago that for marketing, it's mainly white women and white men, with white women being the majority of women that are actually taking these positions. And then it's like 1 or 2%, if that, of like people of color, and specifically Black and Hispanic, like and it's just interesting numbers and seeing that you really have to really go into that direction and really assimilate into like how they do interviews and things like that in order to even get a job or even be looked at. So,
absolutely. 100%.
Yeah. That's why I told you, Spence, this is the last interview I've ever did the rest of my life. Now I'm done. No. Jessica, what was your light bulb moment? I feel like I don't know, you got a lot of light bulbs, I think. A lot of flashlights.
Got a lamp.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like one of them was in high school. I had a friend who was non-binary.
Okay.
And so I grew up in a pretty rural, very white, middle-class area.
Okay.
And they showed up to school in like a corseted outfit, I should say. And they got suspended.
For sure.
Even though they met dress code, it was fine. But the reason they got suspended was because a lot of the boys in the school were threatening to hurt them. So they said it was easier to send them home than to get all the boys in trouble.
Oh, yeah. That was a very quick day to learn the differences in gender.
Yeah.
You protect the perpetrators instead of the victim.
Yeah. So that was like just one of them for me. But I mean, I've had plenty working as a therapist and living life alongside my clients. Like, I've had clients who were pregnant at the same time as me, who were Black women, and what their experience was like versus mine. The pandemic, when I first started, my experience, people in my family, their experience of the pandemic, of being able to stay at home, versus my clients who had to work and had to be, out there dealing with, the general public. And so just the disparity for nothing other than basically the lottery of where you were born.
It's fucked up when you think about the lottery where you're born. Right? Because you only follow certain practices or religions or based on where you're born. We've had other therapists come on here and talk about, women are looked up to in certain areas and like they're seen as like really awesome, strong things. In other areas, you're like, you're shit, you're trash. You look at India that's had women as like their leaders like fucking 100 years ago. We're like nowadays, we still don't want no women leading. It's like, this is wild. Light bulb moments throughout my entire life. You want to do this, you want to do that, you want to be an athlete. You're making choices. You start working with autistic people. You realize you are autistic. You start working with queer kids. And you're like, oh, I guess this is a population I'm going to work with. I was pretty homophobic before. And look at me now. Just loving all my little trans babies. Light bulb moments. Wasn't a fan of working with international folks because I want to work with my people here in the States. And then now you're like, oh, fuck, man, these people are fucked up too. I guess when you start digging into racism and you're reading the books and indigenous people, Hispanics, Aztecans, like, holy fuck. A lot of light bulbs. A lot of light bulb moments where you're like, I got to get the fuck out of here, man.
but it's good. We're waking up. And I mean, that kind of veers us into that conversation of assimilating into that supremacy culture.
Go ahead, talk about it.
So, basically what I was how I conceptualize it is this belief that the client is unwell or abnormal and the clinician and society is well and normal. So you're trying to get the client to assimilate to what that looks like. And the medical model also reinforces this idea by saying that an illness is cured once you're returned to normal, which might be like true for the body, right? Like when your fever breaks, like you're doing better. But with mental health, that might not be the best standard of saying, because then I dove into the question of like, okay, well, what is normal for mental health, right? Like what is a normal experience of being a person? And what I found was that normal is actually a pretty new concept. Like it was at the turn of the last century. People really started talking about normal in spaces where they were talking about eugenics and social engineering and social Darwinism, where they were trying to engineer people that they believed could be redeemable, to be this superior race of being, and then Colin. Everyone else could kind of fall into place.
My best friend Colin would probably be that. Yep. Yep.
Blue eyes, blonde hair,
strong,
buff as shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. And that goes classically, like obviously eugenics is very famous with Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
But what we don't know is the fact that in the US, that was also really big. And this belief that the white Western males way of being, which I think they described as, or I have it here. They said white men were of superior intelligence, had emotional and behavioral self-control and moral behavior. And basically their fitness was based on their perceived contribution to society.
I mean, those are all factual things. So I agree.
Hey, I approve.
Shout out to white men.
Hey,
it's so hard. You're welcome. It's so hard for a white man these days. Let's talk about the man's struggle.
Finally, I've been waiting.
The white man's struggle.
Yeah. I love with Jessica. She's just like, blah.
Also, a note to that is like eugenics. It didn't I think it was either Sweden or Switzerland. They didn't get rid of eugenics until like the 70s or something, very late. And so that's why a lot of the time when you go there, you see a lot of blonde hair and blue-eyed people, and they don't really like the dark-haired, like brown-eyed people over there. So
yeah. Yes, absolutely. And all of this supremacy was just to justify exploiting, Black and brown folks.
Yeah.
Like really, that's just where it stems from.
I remember we was in school, right? And they showed this documentary, Spence, on the Ford family, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so everyone was joking, but the professor was like, this is the reason why the Lions will never win shit. And we still ain't never winning shit.
After last night.
Yeah. Well, I mean, defense was fucked. And then, it is what it is. It is what it is. I told my dad, I said, I don't feel like we were going to win it before the game. Like, we have literally no bodies left on the defensive side. We lost 2 more guys in the game for enders, season ender. I'm like, it's over. The curse is real.
Get back to
the curse is real. Okay, so we're talking about the Ford family, and what they don't know is that he was one of them eugenics motherfuckers. That he had a picture in his office of Hitler. In his office. And then Hitler, they talk about him loving the Fords and all the shit that they did. So he would make people dress a certain way, talk a certain way, but he paid people $5 a day, and that was the highest wage like in America at the time. And so people were flocking in there, but he would make you do certain things, make you perform certain ways, make you assimilate. And if you didn't, he was cutting your ass. But so you had to do it to assimilate. So he was one of the fucking not the beginners, one of the most influential people in the Michigan and auto industry to fit conformity. And he had this little newspaper too, and it was all about eugenics. Which is fucking wild. So this is the reason my professor was like, we're never going to win shit. because we're fucking run. This whole fucking thing is run by Nazis. I was like, Jesus Christ.
And they just took away their DEI stuff.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's taking that away.
They were, but they
Yeah.
were like, they're probably itching like, come on.
They
were waiting.
They couldn't wait. They're about to fire so many people. Wild. Eugenics is a crazy shit, man. How we got on that topic? Because you were talking about assimilation.
Yeah.
And conformity.
But yeah, and there's like this social engineering part of eugenics and social Darwinism to kind of get people to conform and to be a certain way and to uphold these standards. So for men, the norm became having advanced education, sexual morality, self-control, optimism, high productivity, and absolute control over their mind and body. And for women, the norm that you would aspire to be was being to be appropriate for breeding, I should say, is if they were chaste until marriage, sufficiently seductive, and prioritized optimistic motherly and wifely skills. And there was a book that was called The Science of Eugenics and Sex Life, which basically was teaching women how to be like attractive, like how to be the ideal woman. And it's told women to never look on the dark side of anything. If it does not have a bright side, don't look at all. Look at anything else. Never speak or even think ill of another. Read good books, think good thoughts, lead pure lives, observing the laws of health. These habits, once formed, become literal brain paths along which it grows easier and easier for the thoughts to travel, bringing gladness, health, and symmetry to every nerve and tissue.
Manifestation, manifest goodness.
But honestly, when you like think about it, when you take a step back, like that whole idea of creating brain paths, I like heard of that in grad school, talking about like CBT and that kind of thing. Like the more that you just change how you're thinking, it's going to be easier to think that way. So honestly, like this idea of social engineering, which was also really big in behaviorism, was to like morph people into this certain way of being, to essentially be productive workers that wouldn't make a fuss.
That would make a fuss, and then also that would give them the pseudo or synthetic experience of living a well life.
Yes.
Or a quality of life of decent. But in actuality, it makes other people a servant and a slave. Spence, when she was reading all those things about women, the first part, I'm like, where's that woman? Where's...
Oh, wait a minute.
I'm going to put a baby in you.
Where is my perfect woman?
Girl, seductive and teaching. Where's that book at? Can we hand this out?
Seductive and motherly? Come on now.
Oh, come on. That's not a thing.
Nope.
You talking about grandma? Wait a minute. Did I just call my grandma seductive?
You sure did.
That's a good one.
Grandma Zerka.
That's a good no. Grandma Gara's a soldier. Yeah.
There you go.
Grandma Gara's a soldier. She'll kill you though. Don't fuck with her. That's real Mexican there.
Seduction.
I wasn't going like that, motherfucker.
What we say?
Don't talk about Grandma Gara like that.
Hey, you know,
rest in peace, Grandma Gara.
Hey, yep. Tip my hat to you.
Bruh, I'm full right now thinking about the food. All right, back on track. So, wow, that was a lot of stuff.
But it's like, it makes you think like a lot of mental health therapy now is kind of that social engineering.
It's pushed down that, everything that you said, it is pushed down that alley.
Yes. Yeah. So it all stems from eugenics, which is just based in racism.
So what you're saying is therapy is fake and we shouldn't do it. And I should just trade in my license and go back to selling drugs.
I mean, I have had so many existential crises about this. It's not even funny. I'm like, literally, what am I doing here?
Pause. So you're using these tools, back to Andor, the tools of your enemy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But aren't we using it for different purposes? Like, aren't we making people's lives better? Or like, are we fucking over people? I ain't fucking over no one in my office. At least I don't think so.
Well, we don't think so. We don't want to think so, right? But I guess the question is, what are we trying to produce from people? Because a lot of like being well looks like being able to hold steady employment.
Correct.
And so it's like, okay, so you can get up and go to work, or they're in a positive mood, when how are we supposed to always be in a positive mood? Like, we have a hard time handling, like, quote unquote negative emotions here, because we're taught you should always look over here, look at the positive. Because if we had negative emotions or had the space to deal with them, then we might look at all of like the shit show that this country is and do something about it.
Yeah. See. I'm not that type of therapist that you just described. Spence knows. I'd be like, life ain't got no point, motherfucker. So you want to die? Let's try. My dad's dynamite is still active. He still got a hidden in Flint somewhere, Spence. He don't tell me.
Acme, Acme. Looney Tunes.
He tells me I still got a couple bricks left. I'm like,
oh my God.
Drugs or bombs? As my dad would say, Google him.
Yeah. Google me.
Google me, motherfucker. It just shows up. Son, active terrorist.
Oh no.
Jesus
Christ. No. You're recording all of this. Like, you're going to put this on the internet.
It's fine.
Sure is.
It's fine. They coming to get me. I know them motherfuckers. One of my clients said, it's being recorded. Another Arab. I said, shit, I don't know. I'm Arab too. I mean, it's probably recorded. He's like, it probably is, man. I shouldn't be talking to you right now. I'm like, motherfucker, you schizophrenic? You went on black people. I heard about it. Schizophrenic.
Oh my God.
You got that bow tie on.
Oh my God. This is a magnificent conversation.
Yes. Yeah.
Every therapist or person that goes into therapy needs to think about these things, though. What are you actively perpetuating? Are you supporting and helping your client to get to where they want to be? Or are you just helping them be a slave to capitalism? Are you helping with their well-being, though? Are you acknowledging some of these things? Or maybe they don't want to know those things, those clients, and they do just want to get to their job and raise their kid. So the question is making sure that we're not pushing Jessica's viewpoint and open mind.
Absolutely.
But also maybe they do need an open mind because maybe they're depressed because they just don't want to fucking go to work and then be part of the system. So then we have to explain and do more education. So all of it, again, is informed consent, just like we did with Jessica before the show. This is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it. This is who we are. This is who we talk to. It needs to be that with your therapist, your doctor, your family members, your children. Like, a lot of this needs to be open dialogue of why we're doing it. Where the fuck did we learn it from? A lot of you are going to say that's overwhelming. After you do the work, though, it's not overwhelming. Now you can just kind of do things. It's good to know origin stories. I know a lot of people like maybe Spence, some of the origin stories are boring as shit in the movies, but I mean it shows you who the character is and why. I know we got to wrap it up here soon because we need a break.
100%.
Any seasoning you want to put on this, Jessica or Spencer? What's the sauce? You got any ragu for this?
I think my one big takeaway that I always have for clients is like, you're not the problem. There's nothing wrong with you. These systems are the problem. There's something wrong with them. You belong. They do not.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Spence, you got any sauce or how to lead us out?
Nope. So Jessica, let's get some plugs in. Where can people find you? Socials and for your private practice.
Who you is? Where you at?
Who is you? Who is you?
Yeah, so you can certainly follow me at Critical Conscious Counseling. But I basically just have that. I'm not currently taking clients through my private practice, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so feel free to follow me. But I also want to just say, like, don't stop there. I am obviously a white person, a woman, like, and I have like so much privilege that a lot of these things that we talked about today, I didn't like come up with them, or, they were taught to me by people with lived experiences. So on my page, if you go onto my About Me, I have listed clinicians and people who are people of color, who have lived experience, who are into the same things that I was just talking about. So if you're going to follow me, like, that's awesome. But even before you do that, please follow them, because like they're the ones who are living it. I'm just kind of learning it and regurgitating it. Yeah, so that would be, but all are welcome.
And then you'll probably add more people to your private practice as your kiddo gets a little bit older.
Yes.
right? Then you can make some more money. Then you'll get certified through Medicaid, still help your population.
Yes. That's hopefully.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Spence, you got anything else?
No. Fantastic having you, Jessica. Would love to have you back again for different movie, show, whatever. Yeah. Great conversations we had today.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. This was great.
There you go.
Yeah. It wasn't too bad listening to the colors again.
This that one time that you talk to them, right? Look at you. You're talking down to your clients, then you talk down to us.
Oh, God.
Now look at you. You're down there.
Look at her. She's always on the job. She's going to tell her husband, like, I think I changed those coloreds' minds.
Yeah.
About their own people.
I think they're actually gonna be on our side.
After today, she's gonna tell her toddler, I think I solved racism.
I think they're gonna wear red hats this time.
It just needed a white woman.
It did.
The movement just needed a white woman to solve it.
That's it. You needed to be the face.
Let me tell you,
I love
every problem is solved by a white woman. Remember that.
No.
I actually kind of believe that.
Yeah.
No.
Anyways, thank you everybody for joining us today. I'm Spencer. That's Nas. Different Spectrum Podcast.
All right, everyone. As always, much love. And remember, take care of yourselves.
Or don't.
That's completely up to you. Peace.